Kevin Allen on the snake pit. How you feeling, bro?
I've been better, but I've been worse.
Shit. Ain't that the fucking truth?
That's kind of how Lubbock goes.
Yeah, man. What's going on, man? What you kind of got going on in your life right now?
Right now, talking with some people for the Young Republicans, seeing if we can start a chapter in Lubbock that's outside of the collegiate area, because we've already got the college Republicans. But the floods and everything that have happened in Kerrville, and they're all taking their time to help them first, which that's what we need to do. That's where we're focused. So they'll get back to me later. Other than that, I'm just bouncing between home, hospital, pulmonary heart and rehab, working on stuff for the fall semester. I'm going to stop medical school, so I'm going to go into probably law.
Oh, okay.
I think that way I can kind of get where I need to be and actually help out. I mean, because I've already proposed legislation. I'm active politically here. And I'm just kind of like, I need to do something with this.
Yeah, man.
That's where that's at. But no, I've just been trying to rest and hide from people all summer.
Hell yeah. Feel ya. So what's going on with the Young Republican, or is that what the Young Republicans? What's up with this?
Young Republicans?
Yeah, I wanna.
There's two different groups, and the Federation one reached out to my friend Jacob Meyer. They also reached out to the Amarillo area Young Republicans, and one way or another my name comes up. And they get me on a 3-way phone call, 4-way phone call technically, and we kind of tossed the idea around, what does it look like in Lubbock? And they kind of talked to me, figured out who I am, what I'm about, and they said, if we get this going, Dustin Burrows and Carl Tepper and others would be real excited about it if we can get it going. And I said, yeah, I mean, let's watch my health, but let's try and get it done. That way, the sooner the better. And then if I need to hand it off to someone, I've got people lined up for that too. But I did tell them I wouldn't do it unless I had a cabinet under me to run it. It's just, between being sick, being in school, running a nationally recognized support group, and everything else, it's a lot. If I had kids, I couldn't do the stuff that I do.
You're a busy man.
I stay busy.
Yeah.
You go from being a homegrown West Texas boy that slept in as a kid all the time and didn't do a whole lot to getting up and advocating and fighting for people and trying to figure out what each person in Lubbock really needs. What is it that Lubbock's citizens need? And then you get sick like I do. You get involved with the patient community, and that's a similar path, but a little bit more focused. And before you know it, you're just involved serving people left and right. And, I think Texas Tech students made it loud and clear when I had Republican orgs and Democrat orgs coming together supporting me, saying, hey, you're right. We need to start doing something to help the patients here at Texas Tech and in Lubbock, Texas. So yeah, I stay pretty busy.
What do you mean, like, help the patients at Tech? What's going on?
So when you talk about patients, I'm talking about people that, they're routinely seeing doctors. They've got chronic illnesses. They've got medical limitations. They've got disabilities. And so you get into medical and diagnostic limitations. Texas Tech-wise, I grew up as a big Mike Leach fan. He was a big fan of mine. I loved Mike Leach.
Love him.
Yeah. So I'm from that era of Texas Tech, and I went to school later on in life, as I am now. And he's, God bless him, rest in peace. Man, he was kind of like, if you think about the momentum Mike Leach had, I think about watching wrestling as a kid and seeing like Stone Cold, but he was like that for Texas Tech as a coach. Like that was the guy. And so you go to Tech, and before that I was at South Plains College, and that's when I passed out 169 times, gained 144 pounds of water weight. I was all from heart failure. I didn't know. COVID was happening, and I remember getting taken to the hospital at one point. I black out, and then I wake up, and I'm stuck in a hospital room with Joe Exotic on the TV, and I didn't know what I had done wrong. I was like, what kind of sick hell what did I do wrong in life?
Yeah.
But you go to Tech, and I guess if you're not sick, if you're not disabled, it's great. Because I agreed, I had a chance to go to Princeton. And, I got with Dr. Test, and I said, here's the deal. Here's what I've been offered. There's no numbers, but they want me there. And he told me that let's have a frank discussion with them. If you want to go there, and if you want to go there, we'll make it happen for you. And I thought about it, and I was like, I've almost died so many times. I'm kind of tired of playing Russian roulette. We have Texas Tech and Texas Tech physicians. I trust them. Let's do that. And so I stayed here. Start going to school. We had an agreement before I started, and they were going to accommodate my disease, my condition, limitations. I didn't know at the time that unless you list out every single little thing that can happen to you, colleges no longer had to accommodate you. And that became a problem because when someone's chronically sick and they're on medications that keep them alive, you can't predict one day to the next because you're sick every single day. You may be incontinent one day, you may be unable to walk the next, violently throwing up the third day, and it's kind of like Lubbock weather. You don't know what you're going to wake up with. And then the pain for the medicine, there was a chest. I don't want to say it was Chest Boston, but it was some type of symposium that I spoke at. There was a patient there. I knew I was experiencing pain. I didn't realize how much. I just knew this sucks. I can't walk. And she gets up on stage and said it felt like she was having a cesarean all over again with no pain medication. And I was like, I knew this hurt, but I didn't fathom that it was to that level. And so, yeah, you're in so much pain you can't walk. You get topical ketamine. You ever been like frustrated or something and you smoke a cigarette, take the edge off?
Mm-hmm.
That's all it does. Doesn't get you high. It just kind of takes the edge off of the pain, but you still feel it throbbing inside your abdomen. It's uncomfortable. You ever seen like Alien or
yeah,
and you see like the throbbing?
Mm-hmm.
Your face does that, your abdomen does that. It's terrible. So Texas Tech had agreed to accommodate, and when I start having problems, I let them know. And all they told me was you could drop classes. You could drop classes for weeks on end. Hey, you can drop the class. You can drop the class. Okay, well now I've not only got that, I've got medical line infections. I can't get out of bed. I might end up back in the hospital. This could kill me. I'm getting sicker. I've got an infection in my body now because of the medical line infections. I can't make the exam dates. And on top of that, when you're in that much pain, you can't study. You ever had like a real bad toothache or something?
I've never been in that much pain, but I can imagine.
Yeah, there's no way you could retain information, let alone study. They're like, well, you could do the work. Yeah, you could do the work and fail, not learn nothing and go and take the exam and then fail. C's to get degrees, but that's not something I live by. And so they push back and say they're having meetings. My doctor gets involved. We tried to get them to talk to him. They said they couldn't for legal reasons. So that's kind of when I'm like, if they can't do this for legal reasons, then there's probably some legislation we can go after. And eventually I get them on a 3-way phone call and just put my doctor on. And as soon as he gets in the call, they don't want to talk. And I let them know, hey, this is my doctor. This is what's happening. I know y'all probably record the phone calls, so this will be on record that he's here and he's going to tell you my limitations, how sick I am. And Texas Tech kind of went silent, didn't do anything. And I dropped the courses because nobody was wanting to work with me at all. And I was just like, well, this is not what I wanted, because now it's going to take me a lot longer to graduate. And I kind of, in my head, I was like, if I do this every semester and I'm only taking 1 or 2 classes because of this, I'm going to be here forever. Mm-hmm. I finally get the ADA director to talk to me. That conversation started off all right. And then it took a direction where his wording was going forward. And I was like, okay, we can go forward, but I've got some stuff I want to kind of address. Y'all made me drop classes. I'm going to lose scholarships over this. The Scholarship Foundation doesn't understand that Texas Tech didn't do their job and support a disabled student, even with an agreement. And y'all put me in this situation. Texas Tech, in that meeting, I had asked about, because from the moment I got there, they put me in classes with STAIR. If you've never been to Tech, have you?
Mm-hmm. I graduated from there.
Okay. So the classes where you walk down in? Mm-hmm. That's where they had me. And they're like, well, you can sit in the back. I was like, well, I can't do that, or I can't hear because I've got tinnitus from heart failure. So I need to be up there. Plus, I can't hardly see. So just let me sit in the front row and we'll figure something out. And they were like, well, we can't switch classes for you, which that turned out to be not true. They can switch the classes. They just don't like to do it. And I asked about, filing a grievance. I had tried to file grievances with Tech multiple times when they wouldn't listen. And so I thought, well, I've got the ADA director. Maybe he'll be on my side about this. And he answers to Skuvanik. That's the next person up. He proceeded to tell me that if I went that route, that there would be an investigation and Texas Tech would lie against me and say that my accommodations were there the entire time, and that basically say that I had made everything up. That didn't sit well with me, and I told him right then, I was like, that's a violation of my civil right to equal access of education. That's also a violation of Texas Tech's own due process. And so I walk out of that meeting, and right before I left, I had told him, if you want to give me a reduced course load, let me manipulate my due dates a little bit to work with how sick I am, I'll take it. I'm all for it. But I left on that note, and I went to Jody Arrington's office. Jody Arrington's office did not like what they were hearing. Now, I wasn't speaking with Jody himself. He was in Washington. But even his office was like, that's really odd. That's really bizarre to hear that. You should try and contact like the Civil Rights Board of Education or something. So I go home, I think about it, and I end up contacting Greg Abbott's office and Ted Cruz's office. I tell them what happened, how they weren't working, what had happened. And at some point in there, Greg Abbott's and Ted Cruz's office send me a message back saying, hey, we would suggest, number one, Greg Abbott understands disability. And they suggested that I have a meeting with the president of the university, the board of regents, and myself and my physician. So in Ted Cruz's office essentially said the same thing, minus talking about disability, because Ted Cruz isn't disabled to my knowledge. But they understood the educational thing, and they were just kind of taken back by what had happened. So I start typing up a letter or an email to send to Skuvanek and others. And then I get this email from the dean of students with a legal document that had a bunch of false wording, false information, said that Texas Tech had done everything on their end and did not have to do anything more according to ADA 504 and Texas Education Code, because it would be a financial and administrative burden on their end to accommodate my condition any further, and that I was refusing to work with them and turn down everything that they had offered. And I said, well, that's not true at all. And so that email turns into two separate emails in one, and I CC my doctor. I CC'd a bunch of directors and chairs. I mean, at this point, I had reached out to Chancellor Ted Mitchell, and then someone at the university told me he wasn't really the chancellor, and I said, yeah, he is. I've talked to OCR Dallas, and they looked into it and said he is the chancellor. And his office just would not talk, didn't want to mess with it. Even the Office of Equal Opportunity tried to spin it on me and say that the university has done nothing wrong, and it just became a buddies protecting buddies. And I was like, I'm not trying to sue anybody. I just want my education. So in that email, the dean of students, Matt Gregory, and I realized he hadn't been given the full story. We agreed to meet outside of the email system once it goes through and everyone sees it. We talk about it, and his words were, I can't believe at Texas Tech University and the medical hub of West Texas, of all things, we're not facilitating these things, because you do have an abnormal number of patients in Lubbock. We're the medical hub of West Texas. And he said, had he known the full story, he would have never signed that document. So that bothered me pretty bad. And then I got word that Skuvanek and his office were intimidated by my tactics, and my response is, intimidated by what? You didn't accommodate me. You produced a false legal document against me. You threatened my civil rights. You threatened the due process against me. And so I defend myself, and you're intimidated. I go back to Jody Arrington's office, and they were like, here's OCR's number. You contact them, and we'll go from there. We do that. I end up real sick. And I had to take summer classes because Texas Tech refused to write a letter to my scholarship donors saying what had happened. So I took the summer classes just to keep my GPA in accordance with the agreement with my donators. And Texas Tech just kind of dragged their feet about the whole thing. And we finally get to a point after the classes are over, before we go into fall semester. Is it fall? I think it was fall. And I created the student org Beyond Barriers to help students with disabilities, because I was like, there's got to be more than just me, right? Where there's smoke, there's fire. And that was too well, in my mind, that was too well played out to have just been an isolated incident. I was like, no, they've done this before. I don't know to who, but that was too perfect. And it turns out it has happened to other students in different ways. And to me, it's sad, but in that court session, Dr. Test, he shows up with me and defends me, and Texas Tech, they looked him right in the eyes and They were like, we've done everything we can to accommodate Kevin. And he stops them. He was like, I don't think you have. And he just lays into them. And I was sitting there watching Texas Tech physicians and Texas Tech University go at it. I was like, I don't know what's fixing to happen here. And he just really lays it into them. And then they put us in separate rooms. And this goes on for most of the day. We come to some agreement. I didn't want to go to federal court. And I was tired by the end of the day because that had taken 9 a.m. to like 5 or 6 or something. It was late in the day. And I was like, I'm done. I want to go to bed. I feel like crap anyway. So we just kind of made a few agreements to where I could manipulate my test and they would work with me if I became sick. And I could have asked for more, but I didn't. And OCR Dallas on their own said if they ever hear of anything more or any incidents like this again, that they would push a federal investigation on Tech. And I told him, I said, and if that happens, I'll call for a federal probing of different university offices because I have a list of names that, in my opinion, I can't prove it, but because of the way it happened, I know which offices didn't do anything, and I know which ones were bouncing stuff between each other. And I'm kind of like, that shouldn't be happening to students when you've got that much power and you have to leverage it against them. Let them learn, let them get their education. I mean, my God, we have veterans at Texas Tech. I would hate to find out that happens to them. And, and I don't want to, I hate harping on Texas Tech because I love the university, but, as someone who grew up here and that was one of your dream colleges to go to, it kind of rips your heart out and disillusions you.
Yeah, man. So this is happening to more than just you, and this is the issue.
Yeah, I mean, there's other stories.
And
where
is this because they just don't want, like, the financial? Is this, you think, like, they don't want to fucking put in the?
I think, in my opinion, like, I'm a conservative and I get it. I think the issue is probably more. Number one, we're not athletes. We don't play football.
Okay.
So there's not a lot of money in us if you look at it from that aspect. And I had told them I want to turn this negative into a positive and make y'all a premier destination for disabled students in the U.S. I said, I think y'all have that capability here to pursue patient access to education. The other issue, I think, is I think there's kind of an attitude, if we do this for one student, we've got to do it for all the students. And I don't think they want to go to that, what they would probably say, trouble. I don't think they want to make that extra effort. And to me, that's not, I mean, I visit patients, and sometimes it's the first and last time I visit patients. And what I mean by that is they don't all survive. And I'm kind of like, if they're as sick as I am, and they're going to end up needing a heart and double lung transplant, and they want to pursue a better quality of life and a life worth living and existing in through academic endeavors through Texas Tech, why not give them that? I mean, it's not that hard, and I wasn't even going to school for medical at the time. I was just doing psychology. And even then I was running into problems, and I got word Texas Tech student government had taken issue with some disability stuff. I still don't know what it was. I never found out, but I got asked if I would come into that meeting. Well, come to find out, it's with the same ADA director. And he realizes I'm in that meeting. And there was so much tension in that meeting. You could feel it in the room. And I was just like, this is not going to go well. I told them this was not going to go well. So he starts rolling with it. And they would ask questions, and he would be like, we have a policy for that. We have a policy for that. Okay, what policy? Well, I don't know what it is, but there's a policy. You're the ADA director. You say you work with the attorneys. What's the policy? And then they ask, what does he think the student experience is for the disabled students at Texas Tech? Well, he thinks it's working quite well, and it is if you just need extra time on your exams for whatever reason. Maybe it's an attention thing. I don't know.
Yeah, so what sort of accommodations would you need?
Someone like me, you need to be able to manipulate your exam due dates. If you need the semester to be extended, you need to be able to do that without getting penalized for your coursework that's coming on the back end. So think of it like a treadmill, and you get sick, coursework piles up on the back end and the front end, and you get stuck between it. You can't get ahead for everything piling up on the back end. The same time, if you focus on the back end, everything piles up on the front end. Now, you do have what's called an incomplete, but the incompletes no longer work. Because if you take an incomplete, you're still not only in that situation, but if you go into the next semester with that incomplete, you just added to your course load. And so what happens if you get sick again? Then you're stuck even longer. Your incomplete runs out. It's a failed.
So it's your civil right to be accommodated?
To access to education.
To access to education.
In your 504 and the ADA, they're supposed to accommodate you. Now, there are limits. Like, I didn't ask them to spend a bunch of money. In fact, I told them how to set it up. I was like, you get on Blackboard, you open a program like they did at SPC, you get a little icon, the professor will, and you let the course run itself. I can see a problem when we do that with medical students because you got to have labs. Well, at the same time, though, we saw in COVID, Texas Tech was pumping out medical students through online labs, and so were campuses across Texas.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay, so there is some future here with learning online. I don't know how great that idea is because you can't really beat hands-on learning, but
you can do it.
You can do it. And then I would need something where, if I take in-person classes, don't make me climb stairs. Don't put me in a bad situation like that where my heart's going to stop. I mean, my God, we don't even have parking at the ADA office in the front of the office at Tech. It's in the back, and they have a technique center, but you can't walk through that. You have to go all the way around. So when I go to take exams, I'm already having heart palpitations, brain fog. Well, what am I supposed to do? Reschedule it just to do that again and again and again? It doesn't work. And that's always been really concerning to me. I'm kind of like, I think in my head, I think patients should be able to stop their education for a reasonable amount of time and then restart it, especially when they're in the hospital, they're on life-sustaining medications, and their doctor has a whole team of people trying to keep this person alive. I don't think that's too much to ask. I'm not saying they should go to school for undergraduate for 10 or 12 years. That's ridiculous. But I mean, if it takes the average student 2 to 4 years and it takes them 6 to 8, okay. So if they can only take 2 classes a semester, big deal. Work something out with them and they can keep applying for scholarships. It's not going to cost the university a lot of money. There's ways around that. I know students at Tech that are extremely intelligent. And you wouldn't know they were disabled sitting here. Like if I take all this off, get rid of my cane, you've seen me at bars and everything else. I don't look like someone who's sick. But you see me walk around and stuff, you can start kind of picking up on something's off. And some of these students, they have conditions where they can get paralyzed from the waist down, and it's happened to them. And they're registered with Student Disability Services. But there's some disconnect because it's still getting held against them. And I'm like, well, is it from your condition? Yeah, it's from my condition. Well, then they can't legally do that. Yeah, but they did, and I didn't want to fight it because I'm already tired from how sick I am. And I'm like, the more you dig in the situation like that, the sadder it gets. And that's why I just kind of had my fill, and I was like, you know what? I'm not going to win fighting with my university. I don't want to tear them down. I don't want to do them any harm. I love the university. I want them to do the right thing. I just think accommodating patients isn't the hardest thing in the world to ask. And I think what really needs to happen is legislation at the state level. And then if that works in Texas, okay, well, then we look at a federal level. Because I had even went to the City of Lubbock about it, and they didn't like what they were hearing. You remember, and you've met Adam Hernandez, right? Mm-hmm. You met Antonio Renteria. Mm-hmm. Okay. So when they had that election event, I don't know what it was some sort of panel. I spoke with Adam. I also spoke with Steven Sanders and Antonio Renteria and Mark McBrayer. And, even Adam was like, okay, that's not right. Renteria heard it and couldn't believe it. McBrayer was concerned. And Sanders was also concerned enough that he said if he ever became mayor of Lubbock, he would want to put together a disability committee and put me in it. He said, you understand what the students need. You understand what needs to happen. You're aware that things aren't up to code throughout the city for ADA, but you're also not someone that's going to sit there and just drain money on nonsense things. There's a few things that make sense to expand with money, like, have you ever been to a real big city like a national airport?
Yeah.
So what do you notice about national airports?
I've only been there once.
There what?
I've only been there once.
Oh, so I noticed everything is either right where you can get it, and if it's not, they make it accessible. Dallas Airport. Have you been to that one?
That's the one I went to, yeah.
Okay, they've got the monorail. I'm not telling Tech to build a monorail. I think it'd be cool. You'd have a hard time getting me off a monorail because I'm a guy that likes trains and stuff.
Nice. But
they're a great example of looking at patient access in the disability world. And in some areas, it makes sense to have what I've seen at different national airports where you've got your bus stops. I saw this in, I want to say, Indianapolis, Indiana. They had like a bus stop that was heated, that you could get like, they had one of those sensors you could put your cup up to and get water and it would come out. And then in the summer, they would blow AC. I think that would be great for students in Lubbock, especially kind of near the downtown. You'd probably have to put some policies in place so that people weren't commandeering and hoarding up in those. But I think, with the type of wind we get in the extreme weather, I think it really would help a lot of students out, especially on campus. I think it also, Texas Tech's campus is huge. Okay, so have some bathrooms with some ADA bathrooms in different sections across campus. You don't need a lot of them, but just make it more accessible, because there's times where I'm on medications where they're called diuretics and they keep liquid off your heart. And you got to go to the bathroom due to the lack of ADA parking, due to the lack of parking in general, because there's so many students. You can't find a bathroom. And there's times where I've just had to, go home and change clothes or just completely skip class because I was getting sick. I was becoming incontinent and there was no bathroom. And time you park, unpack, go inside with all your, I've got an oxygen pump, my medical bags, my book bags, my laptop. That's a lot of stuff. Patients carry their lives around with them. It's going to take you 30 or 40 minutes to get to whatever the bathroom is, wherever it is, on top of having to walk there, and that's a lot. You can't just, when a patient has a pulmonary and a cardiovascular condition, and you say, well, can't you park across the street and walk? Theoretically, yeah, but realistically, your patients aren't going to walk that far. By the time they do that, they're done for the day. So you need to make it accessible to them. And I think that would be an easy thing to do, even some covered walkways. Because, my God, even the people that aren't disabled, I've had a lot of students come to me and they're like, man, when the wind blows and there's just bird droppings and it gets everywhere and it makes you sick. And I personally don't spend a lot of time outside at tech, so I haven't encountered that. Mm-hmm. But I grew up working for farmers. And so I'm like, no, yeah, that's a thing that'll make you really sick, and I didn't even know that.
Diseases.
Yeah. But no, that's just, I think there's some things that could be done better. And you could even put solar panels on something like that. That way it was just powering itself. I've even suggested, hey, Texas Tech should partner with South Plains College HVAC program and let the students come in and fix all the air conditioning and heating. No cost to the university. Those students get their degrees. Everyone's got working AC and heating. Everything works. It's a fair trade-off. Nobody wanted to entertain that. So I don't know. I don't know what the deal is. I really don't.
That's weird.
That is weird.
It is disheartening, like you're saying.
It is.
Tech is, I love tech.
Man. I love tech too. And I'm still, man, it's gotten to where it's even hard to even talk about it anymore because it's just like, it's kind of like talking bad about your kid or your mom or your dad. It's like, I don't want to do this. Yeah. But yeah, that's where that's kind of at right now. You still doing a whole bunch of your comedy shows and book telling?
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a minute. I have to piss real quick.
There's a lot of different cats around here.
Yes, sir. We take care of it for them.
Really? Yeah. So in a sense, you're like Baby Joe Exotic.
I'm a cat daddy.
Cat daddy?
Yeah. Well, yeah, you were saying the comedy show?
Yeah, because
I did one on Friday.
Where'd y'all go? The Lantern?
No, I do one at this venue that, shout out to Dork Productions, B&M. It's way out on 34th. It's this big-ass fucking warehouse. Nice little setup.
Interesting. You think a comedy club would make it in downtown Lubbock? If it was open venue, like you could bring in maybe some stuff like, who's that guy that does, is it Chris Angel? And then there's some others.
Mind Freak. Like magic?
Yeah, bring in some stuff like that. Bring in some music.
I think a comedy store here, strictly comedy, I don't know. But like you're saying, like a venue ran by comics would be where you could do like open jams, open mics, bring in a music act. I think so.
I think it would work, especially if you got like around Avenue.
I don't know, because Lubbock's weird. Like it supports what it supports, and it doesn't support what it doesn't support. I don't know how to, you know what I mean? I don't know how to explain it, but
it's very particular with what it wants to support.
It's very particular, and what I'm hoping and waiting for, you can only do that so much, is somebody to pop off. I think if somebody who's Lubbock through and through pops off, then it could work.
Right. Yeah, and then they could get it invested back in. And
I don't see. I have yet to drop this podcast, and I'm waiting to do it till after the Kyle Rabel one. Is this guy he's a comedian, and the way he talks about comedy and the way he's passionate about comedy, I haven't seen that from somebody here.
Interesting.
Unfortunately.
That's surprising.
It's very surprising. Like once you see this episode, you'll know what I'm talking about, and maybe that is because of a lack of, like he was telling us, he gets like 20. He can get like 8 to 10, 20 sets in a week, and here in Lubbock you can only get 2, maybe 3.
Is he from Lubbock?
He's from Lubbock, but he lives in Houston.
That's why.
So
that's interesting.
So I love the comedians here. I'll support them. I just don't know. I don't know who's that hungry for it here.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it, unfortunately.
So I think a lot of people, and I think it's because we're all adults. Y'all do stuff on the side.
Yeah.
And nobody's able just to sit there and all day long, run it and do it.
Yeah, unfortunately, you can't do that here.
Yeah.
But
that's interesting.
I think a downtown venue, like if what McBrayer is saying and it starts to really develop, would be like if we. So I've heard from people that Lubbock is what Austin was in the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard this. So I don't know how many people are willing to stick it out here.
Yeah.
Because I think like what a lot of us are doing, like who, I don't have to say names, like we're planting these seeds. Even myself, I'm like I would leave for a little bit. I don't want to.
You got to plant and cultivate.
Yeah, it just I don't know, man. I mean, if we had a thriving downtown, it would be really sick to have a fucking place like that.
You've been to Austin?
Yeah, I've been to Austin. Like,
okay, so yeah, I think there's different ways to go about it. I have a business plan that I think would work. I mean, you and I have talked about a potential tea company at some point.
We need some investors, please.
Yeah, like come on, pecan peach sweet tea. You probably don't like that one though.
You do you. I'll stick to this regular sweet tea.
Not Milo, not Briss.
Fuck them both. You get that shit out of here. Don't you ever bring that shit towards me.
Oh, it's banned.
Yeah, it is banned. No.
I think it would either take somebody that gets big, like Gabriel Iglesias, George Lopez, the blue collar comedy tour guys, someone that gets to that level. Or I think if you got the right people involved that were already invested in Lubbock or became successful from investing, the way I've talked about it is if we set certain things up around North and East Lubbock and position it right, and you do make money from capitalizing on that, you could start investing into homes, give people tax breaks. I can see someone with that mindset opening a comedy club, but also I think just having a venue that it's not just music, it's not just comedy. You've also got magic acts, dancing, and so do I. And nobody,
the ancient aliens could come. Well, wait, that's what the Buddy Holly Hall is.
Well, yeah.
But yeah, I see what you're saying. What do you think about Lubbock culture?
Lubbock culture.
What do you think it is? How do you feel about it?
What do I think the culture is?
Yeah, what do you think it is?
I think the Lubbock culture is a melting pot. I mean, come on.
It is. It's weird.
It's like...
I don't know how to explain it.
It's kind of like a curry of just different spices and meats and sauces and...
Yeah, I don't really care what because people tell me when I say what I'm about to say, they're like, well, we've been doing that. Like, you ain't been doing nothing. It's interesting where I am, the position I'm in. I've seen these little swirls, like you're saying, these little pockets of cold. It's weird. Like I've seen this metal, this comedy, this country,
the rap and hip hop.
The rap and hip hop. I'm like watching this. Oh,
now there's a podcast culture going.
There is. It's growing now. Thank God. It's weirdly growing, and I'm like, when is it all going to come together?
Yeah.
Because I think I've been blessed and fortunate enough to bounce around him.
Mm-hmm.
And like they don't fuck with them. They don't, and it's nothing personal. They just don't. And I'm like,
no, they just don't.
So I like when I bounce around it, I'm like, when is this gonna come together? If it does, because it could just crash and burn. I don't know, but I feel something. I say it all the time. I feel like something's stirring here. Weirdly. Do you feel it? Do you feel like something is brewing?
Yeah. I feel like it's ready to... I feel like it's not going to take much more of a push to cause a combustion effect.
Yeah.
And you just start see people skyrocketing. Because even... There's a band that I really liked from here. I'm going to say their name wrong if I don't look it up.
What kind of music is it?
Huh?
What kind of music is it?
It's kind of like country rock. Let me make sure on their name because I don't want to say it wrong. They're called Blackwater Draw. Have you heard of them? And they've done everything from like Christian to country to Christmas. I got to see them at the Lubbock County Republican Party's black tie and boots out west event. And I was just kind of instantly sold. I mean, you're talking about people that can go from playing The Devil Went Down to Georgia like Charlie Daniels to they were playing songs by the Beatles. And I was like, okay, I've never seen somebody go that route with it. But they were doing it in such a southern country folk western style that they've actually gotten popular enough to a point they've had to move to Nashville. And that's also one of the problems Lubbock has. And we've talked about this at Texas Tech with the college Republicans because we have some engineers that are in our org. And we see downtown Lubbock, whenever that boom happens, it looking kind of like a mix-up of downtown Austin meets downtown Nashville.
I've heard that this is a little bit of a Nashville too.
Yeah, that's exactly how we pictured it. We've even proposed ideas that we want to get Mayor McBrayer and the others in on and say, hey, here's a couple of ideas. If we could get this going, it could really change a lot of things. Everything from adding, I think one of them wants to add to the Marcia Sharp a little bit, to we've come up with ways to get the pool situation fixed. And Texas Tech would make money on it. It would have constant maintenance because that kind of seems to be what's caused it. The upkeep was so expensive. But if you kind of combine the stuff the way we've talked about in the organization and you're generating money, it's making Texas Tech look better. They're going to want to invest into it and keep that going. People are going to want to stay because right now at Tech, and this is a fact, I have one student, he's seen what's happening here in Lubbock, although it's politically. He's moving from Dallas to here. He's switching campuses because he likes what he sees and he wants to be involved in it. You've got others that they've taken a look at Lubbock, they've walked around, and they want to hold office at some level, whether it's city council, commissioner. You know, we have great commissioners, Jordan Rackler, Jason Corley. But some of the ideas these people have for roads that go underground, we walked. Do you know where Hebrews Coffee is? Mm-hmm. So you know the lake. And we took the students and they were like, why can't they connect the lakes to each other and then have an attraction that takes people through the lake? Some sort of ride or something, and develop around the lakes with different businesses, kind of like what San Antonio did, but in Lubbock style. It's a great idea. And I said, well, the main reason is, let me show you. And we drove over and I showed them where the road's paved over. I was like, they would have to buy out XYZ properties. This train track would have to become a trestle or be rerouted. And there were all these problems. And they're like, okay, well, this is a simple fix. And here's how we could do it. And just listening to their vision and the way they talk, like I thought I had good ideas. And I'm kind of like, these are your future Lubbock leaders right here. So
there's people out there like that really...
They really
the
care
idea.
And they have a great idea and they want to get together and put stuff down on pen and paper with a map of Lubbock and find a way to generate what it could look like.
Yeah.
I think that's a great idea because even downtown Lubbock comes into play. And I think, Chuck Colbert, man, you talk about someone that gave it their all. He's got great ideas.
He was a little bit before his time, man. That store.
Yeah. I think
there's just no foot traffic.
Well, again, you think about downtown Austin, and I think about how there's apartments with stores at the bottom, but it's their downtown area, and that's the kind of vibe I got. When you're the only apartment complex doing that, that becomes a tough sell. I can see downtown Lubbock doing that, but it would need to grow. You would need to get bigger buildings, add to the skyrise a little bit, and then I think that would be doable. But I know with the way things are now, I think it's important. You know, I think Lubbock does have a downtown gas station and everything. But I think if you're going to sell food and all that, and it's going to be families moving into downtown, I think you've got to be set up in such a way that families can access stuff like buying groceries and stuff like that. Because you don't really have that.
Yeah, he
downtown.
told me some of the people that thinking about moving in there.
Yeah,
That's a good idea. I don't like to say it, but yeah.
that's kind of where I'm dancing around. I'm like, let me choose my words carefully here.
I mean, if what he said is true, yeah, it's gonna be like kind of what you're saying. It's gonna be pretty cool.
It'll be sick.
Yeah, I hope it happens. I don't know, man. I think it's a 5-10 year thing in my eyes. I don't know. I could be wrong.
What about you? What if hypothetically you did have a tea company?
Yeah.
And it like took off in the sense of Arizona tea or whatever.
Yeah.
What would you do? You make $250,000 your first. Let's say the first year you finally took home $250,000. What would you do with it?
With that money?
Uh-huh.
I'd probably build a big ass studio, like a fucking fantasy factory.
I can see
For the snake pit. That's the first thing I would do. Just have us all a really cool chill spot. Just a big ass facility to do this and do other things.
Would you build a facility in Lubbock though?
Outside of Lubbock, but it'd probably be like either south, like near New Home, or north near the airport. There's a lot of land out there.
There's a lot of land out there.
I like it out there. My boss lives out there, and I'm over there every day, and I'm like, damn, it'd be pretty sweet. This actually, his neighbor built a big ass barnuminium.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck, that would be sick to do. So that's something I would do.
Interesting.
Yeah, but
Now,
I wouldn't mind even like buying a house. I like Central Lubbock, so I'd live here and then have that place.
I like Central Lubbock.
I don't want to move anywhere. I don't want to live anywhere outside of Central Lubbock. It's just everything's close.
I mean, if I could have a house off the Cap Rock, like on some ranch land, you could probably talk me into that. I mean, I like being out.
Yeah, I need a few million for that.
And like, have you ever been to Post, Texas?
Yeah, man, I got family out there. I grew up out there.
Oh, yeah.
I love it out there.
Man, nighttime there is wild.
I love it out there.
But I like that feeling.
Man, those folks ain't giving up that land.
No, and they don't need to.
They can give it up to me. I'll use it wisely.
You don't need a sugar mama.
I just fucking want to live out there. It'd be nice.
It would be nice. But that's kind of where I see something's going to trigger a boom, and there's going to be a chain reaction in Lubbock. And when that happens, I think Lubbock will grow faster than what people are ready for. And I think you're going to see a lot of push from left to right, trying to get stuff done, the road work, TxDOT. I think there will be a big call for more stuff to do when that happens. Because there's, you and I are close to the same age. There's stuff to do, but man, $30, $20, $15, another 30, another 20, and you're only in the first week. That adds up quick. And if you got a bunch of kids, going to main event and all these other things, it's expensive.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't be surprised at some point, and I know they've reached out in the past. I just don't know how long ago it's been. I wouldn't be surprised if we end up with some type of theme park, amusement park, and I don't mean like Joyland. I'm talking a lot bigger than that. Cause,
like a Six Flags?
Yeah, I mean, the land is perfect to build on, as flat as it is. There's so much development going on. I could see it happening, They used to say that one day Wolfforth and Lubbock would meet. Years later, everyone that was saying no got proven wrong. We have met. Same with Shallow Water.
Yeah.
And do you ever talk to the commissioners in here? So just talking to them. Have you seen our podcast at Tech?
No, I want to talk about that though.
Okay. We had Commissioner Corley on. He suspects the census we're going off of is wrong quite a bit, and I agree with him. And he thinks our population number is a lot bigger than what.
Then 250.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Closer to the 400,000.
400.
That's what I think he said.
That's what he thinks it is now.
Yeah.
Oh.
I think that's what he said. I would have to rewatch it, but I think that's the number he
Jesus Christ. That makes sense, man. These fucking streets are getting busy.
It does. And if you drive out to like South Lubbock and everything, it's just rows of houses and people are buying them.
They're everywhere, bro.
Now there are certain neighborhoods where there's neighborhoods built and there aren't a lot of people living there yet. But we've also seen those fill up too.
I was about to say, I don't know where you're talking about because I've seen all these new, like you're saying, because I work South Lubbock, they're all full.
Yeah.
I just went to the warehouse where I did the podcast. There's even houses out west. They're all full.
And they're having to build
literally on the county line.
Everything.
Literally on the county line, there's houses full out north. They're building out north.
Yeah. Oh.
So yeah, I don't know much about east. I know they're starting to really fix that area. Let me say that. Gentrify it.
Yeah, that's East Lubbock needs some love. I have some
that
ideas.
Cheese factory's gonna.
The what?
That big cheese factory might
help.
Bring some money.
That might help. I did notice driving in that area. In certain spots, you're starting to see the nicer homes.
Mm-hmm. That's what I mean. They're starting to build them out there.
Yeah, and that's where I was talking with one of my friends at Tech, and I said, I think if they would also not just build new homes out here, but build quality homes that don't just dilapidate within a couple of decades, I think that would go a long ways. Put some quality, get the right contractors in.
Well, they don't do that anywhere anymore.
Yeah, that's also true.
These fucking houses out south ain't where the fuck.
That's a rough one too.
Yeah.
That's another reason I'm picky when it comes to homes because I grew up working on them, and I'm like.
That's what I mean. Like you stay Central Lubbock, it's all old homes that were built in the 50s. They're solid.
And they're good, yeah. Now I don't know what would have happened if that tornado would have hit,
bro. I don't know if I've podcasted since then. That would have fucking wrecked us.
I have heard we've been in a bad way if it would have went through Central Lubbock.
It was coming down 19th, and it would have.
Where were you?
In here, I was scared shitless. Here, I hate bad weather, bro. I was like,
what happened to me? I walked outside, and I wanted to see it, and I just see a wall of like green clouds and rain, and then it gets misty where you can't really see it, and I was like, well, that's crap. I turn around and like kind of one house over. I could see like this funnel trying to come
we could
down.
see it. We were watching it. Like,
yeah, I was like, nope, I'm going inside. I'm done. I foresaw bad things happening.
That was about as real as it could get. It did actually touch down. In Reese. Had that gone into town, oh boy, I don't know if we'd be podcasting right now. I don't
know if we'd have power. I think we'd be in a bad, because it's crazy because we were having that tornado. I think we dodged a bullet.
Oh yeah,
because now we've got flooding all over different parts of Texas on top of that, and I'm just kind of like,
that was a mile wide tornado.
Yeah,
it was F2.
Oh wow, okay.
They confirmed that.
I don't think we'll ever get another F4. Something. I was reading a textbook, and there's something about the way the scaling has been changed.
Yeah. It's weird. I've heard about this.
Yeah, but even then, what was an F2?
I mean, that's a mile wide tornado.
That's a huge tornado.
That used to be an F5.
Yeah.
Have you
seen the houses that did take damage?
Yeah, because when I was driving out to get my shit, there's one.
You went out in the tornado?
No, fuck no. I was at home crying and throwing up. There's some buildings you could see that the roof was ripped. It was like, dude, and there's nothing you can do. Fucking crazy, man.
You know what I went and did after I went inside? I went down and I could hear it, and I was like, man, my cellar's full of water. I'm going to watch tornado documentaries. Don't ever do that. I did the same crap flying in an airplane. I was in the airplane nervous my first time and start watching airplane crashes and all this stuff, and I'm like...
You have a cellar?
Huh?
You have a cellar?
I have a cellar.
You lucky motherfucker.
It's flooded with water. I ain't going down in there. It's stagnant.
Oh, shit.
We need to pump it out.
That's crazy.
It's
Was it from the rain or what?
Huh?
From the rain?
Yeah, because somehow it had a siding because it's got a big metal door. And when that siding broke and it kept raining, it just flooded on in. And my parents got old and then they divorced and it just flooded it and turned stagnant. And the last time I opened it, it looked like there was black mold everywhere.
No, I bet.
And now, as sick as I am, I couldn't even open the door. So
Oh, shit.
I'd have to be screaming.
You couldn't even go in there.
Yeah. I'm down. I'd be screaming for someone to open it. It'd be terrible.
Shit,
But
dude, that
no.
was scary.
You think we'll ever get one?
I thought that was the day.
I think you thought that was the day you were done.
I thought it was like, okay, yeah, it's coming. It's coming. I mean, again, I thought that was the fucking day, but
You know what you can do that I've heard you can book like a ride along with storm chasers.
the 806 Storm Chaser said we could come along.
Yeah, there you go.
So I don't know if I
would
would.
do it.
Bro, I saw a fucking picture because people were talking about like how powerful a tornado is. So there was like a curb that was sticking up. This was Joplin, Oklahoma,
Yeah.
the really bad one.
Oh, the Joplin. Yeah.
So there was a picture from it where this big ass curb was just there, and a piece of wood flew right through it and just was stuck in it. It didn't even break the curb. It went so fast it just went.
It just
It just impaled it. So that's what kills you. You know?
That is what. Yeah, it's just all the shrapnel
So with them, they were like, I was like, do you guys have like an armored vehicle? They're like, no, we're just in a Prius. I'm like, fuck that. I'm not going with you fucking
No, I'm not
a
doing
fucking
it.
metal bar. Just
I may love them, but no.
bury me in Texas. God bless.
Wait, does that mean that there's no one that actually drives into tornadoes then?
They drive pretty close. I don't know. I
Would
think
you do it?
If I did it, it would be with them because they're pretty professional.
In a Prius?
They were at Morton when that one.
So
that day
I know
the
what
one
one.
that when it was coming here, they were in Morton, and they were like, "Lubbock, you better get ready." And I was like, "Motherfucker!"
I remember seeing that on my phone, and I think I was in a meeting, and I saw that, and I was like, I gotta go. And they wanted to know why, and I just showed them my phone, and they were like, oh shit. And I just turned it off. I was like, no, I'm done. That was crazy, though. It felt like we were in a movie. Because the sky was literally dark green that day.
And then we lost the national championship. Did we? Softball.
We lost.
That was the day we lost.
Because you talking about the softball?
That was the day. Because right after the storm, we watched the game.
Wasn't the same day.
Well, the game was on. I think it was game 2.
The game was yeah. Because I watched part of it at Culver's with Chuck, and that was a hard to watch game.
Yeah, we should have won.
And that girl,
We got some more pitchers too. We're gonna win this year.
yeah. I'll be surprised if Texas Tech doesn't win this year. Like if we don't win this year, something's wrong.
Football, too. We're gonna be pretty good.
It'll be interesting. I've got to meet a lot of the players. I've gone to tutoring with some of the players.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we've got some big guys on that team.
Yeah, they just signed like a fucking 5-star offensive lineman.
Yeah.
Like the biggest. Like they spent all that money on NIL. Then now they want to complain about NIL. Now that we're spending it, you fucking idiots.
I know. And I get it because in the 1950s or 60s, there was a problem with universities paying students, and then legislation had to happen because of how much money they were getting. And then all of a sudden now we've got the NIL, so it's the same situation again, but at a much different scale. And I'm like, y'all need to make up your mind. Do you want to do this or not? I have mixed views on it. I don't know where I sit yet on it.
I say pay him.
I think Cody Campbell's got a great thing going. You know, that man is smart.
Mm.
I do know at Tech College Republicans, we want to get a collegiate target shooting team or a shooting team of some type going.
Hell yeah.
Like that's legitimate, funded by the university. We're working on that petition now, even with some of the commissioners and other people in Lubbock, to say, all right, let's throw it up. Let's start getting signatures from people in Lubbock, the different organizations, the students. I think Tech would make a lot of money on it. You know, and plus it's just one more sport to beat A&M at. I'm sorry.
There was an Olympic shooter from around here, West Texas. I don't remember what town, but she went to the Olympics.
I'm not surprised.
She was a shooter.
Did you see the guy that was in the Olympic, this last one with the shooting? He would just walk up and just dressed up like
that. Dude was cool. He like Lithuanian or some shit. He was cool as fuck.
Dude, I saw him and I was like, that dude's totally got a background in something, because he's just like so casual. And if he doesn't, he's going to be getting contracts left and right after this. I don't even know what happened to him. I stopped following it.
He probably got sponsorships.
He probably did.
Next year's going to roll. We get the World Cup. I'm going to try to go to the one in Dallas.
That'll be fun.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to go to Dallas next year for a big convention too.
Yeah.
So hopefully we can get enough petitions this year and get it going, because I really want to see what Carl Tepper, Charles Perry, Speaker Burrows, and Congressman Arrington have to say about, you know, an official collegiate sporting team that's paid for by the university, not supported by the students, because that's kind of the way things are now. And I'm like, no. I'm talking NCAA and all this other, get the NRA, whatever brands, get sponsorships, get scholarships going. I think you really kick off that and start taking that team also to nationals. I think Texas Tech would be making money hand over fist.
Nice.
But no, yeah, we've got that. And then we've got our podcast going.
What's it called?
Riding Right with the Raiders.
Say it again.
Riding Right with the Raiders.
Riding Right with the Raiders.
So yeah, it's because...
Is it a political pod?
For the most part.
You got Iz going on there?
Ismail's going to go on there. He's going to go on. I'm excited.
I'm waiting for my day.
He wants to talk about some controversial stuff that I've heard goes on, but I don't really go to the games because of the medicine I'm on and the temperature, and it would just be a bad idea unless I could sit inside somewhere. He wants to talk about some very controversial stuff that goes on at Tech. I have heard, and I don't know it because I don't go. So I'm like, yeah, come on, let's talk about it. I want to know. He has said that due to certain slurs, racial slurs, getting tossed out at Tech games, that Texas Tech has been penalized and it's cost them games or something. And he's not the first person to tell me this. I've heard it from different districts throughout Lubbock that this is a thing, and I was like, well, I don't go to the games, so I don't know, and I'm not friends with anyone that's
yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised either with the stuff I've seen happen on campus just among students. I mean, there's the one guy that calls the students with autism the R word, and there's a lot of...
I shouldn't laugh at that. My bad.
There's other things that go on. You can edit it out. There's other stuff. For whatever reason, there's also a lot of students that wanted Iran to like overpower Israel and
oh boy,
all these narratives, and I'm just like, at this point, I'm like, just give me my education, let me go home.
Yeah, that's all fucking.
But no, it's
noise.
It's political. I'm gonna have some episodes that aren't political. Like we've had a couple of episodes where we just talked. There's one we just talked about Taco Villa. I had a guy on there. He's on the state board with me for the Federation of College Republicans, Texas Federation, and he asked what Taco Villa was. And I was like, "You don't know what Taco Villa is?" And we had a whole conversation about the glory that is Taco Villa.
I might go get some of that after this.
It does. It's like Taco Villa is like a rite of passage.
Staple, man. So y'all talking about anything? What are we gonna talk about when I go on there?
We're going to talk about how you're going to run for mayor and you're going to campaign.
Fucking want to
You is JP.
I think I can win. I think I can win.
I bet you if you got popular enough, you could just run for something and you just off of clout alone.
Just the following I have, I could fucking win.
Yeah, you could probably trigger some votes.
I don't know, it's just, I like this all that kind of shit. I'm at the bleep that.
Politics are dirty, Roy. I mean...
Yeah, I guess Trump kind of blew that out, the fucking, all that, so... Yeah,
I mean, like, we had Rep. David Lowe. Like, I didn't know that we were going to catch on the way that we did. I was like, okay, this is going to be an uphill thing, and we're going to have to, like, stay on the gas with it. David Lowe wanted on. I'm supposed to talk to Matt Crow at some point. I've got to email him. I haven't had a chance because I had that heart procedure. Sid Miller, we were supposed to record him the other day, but there was a malfunction with like the software and he was using his phone, and for whatever reason, we use a program called Riverside. You ever heard of it? So it kind of chops up all your stuff and makes you a title and makes you chapters and gives you a summary, and it makes it real easy to go in there and splice together and edit. And it saved me a lot of time. And Caleb, though, he's our vice president of Tech College Republicans. So that's what we used. Sid Miller wants to get back on, said he really wants to be part of it. We've had, I don't know if you recognize the name, Andrew St. Clair. He was a student at Texas Tech that made the news at one point, and he went on to be a professional conservative, and he was actually working at the Capitol during the 89th session. He's come on. I reached out of state and knocked on the door of Mayor Glenn Jacobs. So he used to wrestle as Kane.
Hell yeah.
I started pulling for those strings. So I made contact. And so there's talk about it happening at a later date when he's not busy. And I think that would be really cool.
That'd be sweet.
That would be sick.
Dude, that would rule.
I don't even know what I would call that episode. The Riding Rights choke slam from hell, or I don't know.
Fuck, that'd be cool as fuck. Yeah, I forgot he won the mayor.
Yeah, and to see people like that become mayor, I think is cool. I'd love to see Arnold Schwarzenegger. I think once we get Sid Miller on, though, I think more doors will open. It'd be cool to have Abbott come on, and we do a lot of call-ins.
I would love to have Abbott on.
Yeah, Abbott, Jody Arrington.
I would like Jody Arrington as well.
And really,
a guy going for your seat went on the pod. So why don't you come on the pod?
I mean, honestly, do you know where his office is?
Mm.
So it's in downtown Lubbock, right on Texas Avenue.
Yeah, I heard he's never in town.
Very rarely, because he's always busy in D.C. I'm actually supposed to have breakfast. He's Tech College Republicans supposed to have breakfast with his team. Don't know if he'll be there. If he is, I'll kind of say, hey, this happened. You should go on this podcast too. That way it just kind of... Because in my opinion, what it does when people at that level start coming on to stuff like this, even ours at Tech, I think it humanizes them.
He does exactly what it does.
It makes them relatable.
They need to do it. I'm not saying this one, but yeah, they need to do podcasts.
Yeah. And podcasts are getting popular. I think just sitting down with the average people, your constituents, and putting these videos and podcasts out where, you're just not always surrounded by Fox News and CNN and having to call in out of the White House or the Capitol. I think it's a great thing. Like, we talked to David Lowe, and he was at his apartment. And we just had a great conversation with him. I mean, it was laid back. It was chill. It was relatable. And to be honest, I know there's a lot of controversies in Lubbock, but when I was at that event for the Republicans at the black tie thing, I was standing away from the band because my tinnitus and the music was just rattling my head. of all people, Carl Tepper walks up and asks how I'm doing. And you don't know what that meant to me, that he recognized, hey, you're one of the guys that I helped. You've also reached out to me. I've been watching what's going on with you at Tech. And he wanted to talk sometime. And we just kind of stood there and had a conversation.
Nice.
And we got interrupted and somebody kind of took the conversation over. And I was like, we were talking, but it was so loud in there anyways. But it humanizes them and it lets you know that, hey, they're just like you and I. You know, it's just they had whatever gumption it took to get in there and run and fight. They're not perfect. None of us are. Mm-mm. But they took lead, and that's what got them where they are. So anyone can do it. We're open to different people on the podcast, too.
One more time, what's it called?
Riding Right with the Raiders.
And it's on all streaming platforms?
We're on 15 platforms. I'm trying to get us on YouTube. Because
okay.
we upload through what's called RSS. You ever seen that one?
Yeah, the RSS feed.
It's and you can upload right into 15 platforms: Amazon Music, Spotify, Apple Music. There's a YouTube option, and I don't know what happened because we tried really hard to do video, and this thing was happening. It happened with Andrew Sinclair's episode. We can hear him, and we can tell on our end, okay, it's recording. But then when we go to edit it, the video disappears and the audio disappears, or the video stays and the audio completely disappears, or some backward. We don't know. I tried and tried and tried to recover the files, and eventually I just gave up on it and spliced it together, and we dropped the episode. I was like, whatever, we'll just do a follow-up later. We're launching another podcast anyways to get national conservatives on.
Nice.
So that'll be fun, but we want the tech students on, the different professors. We're not going to be left-wing agenda. That's not going to be a thing because it's the Tech College Republicans podcast. But I think there's a lot of potential there to really get back to conservative values. And I've always called it, you know, putting the red black in red and black, or protecting the scarlet in the scarlet and black. You know, because they're students. They need to know why these things matter. Just like Ashley Cash is big on financial literacy. That's really important. And there's a lot of people that go into college knowing nothing about it, and then they graduate and still don't know nothing about it. And they may make $300,000 a year and save $20 because they spend it as they make. I know people like that to this day. I'm like, dang, you have a nice house and everything. What do you have? Nothing. Huh? It takes everything I have to have all this. So why do you have so much stuff? You know, that's me. I'm conservative. I wouldn't do that. I'm fine with a small house, living beneath your means. And I'll be honest with you, going to school on disability income sucks. I do not advise it. I had to do it. I don't recommend it. If you can make better money and go to school, do it. Because this is not going to be my future. I'm going to go into law, go into politics, and invest and come out on top one way or the other. Because it's not meant to live off of. It's not meant to just say, okay, I'm done. This is my income for the rest of my life. Although as sick as I am, something bad could happen. And yeah, I don't want that. There's more out there than that. But yeah, I think getting the football player. Who's that football player that he went to the WWE for a little bit, or NXT? He's local. He goes to like different restaurants with his daughter, and he used to paint his face up and had the spike hair.
Brandon Carter?
That dude, I want him on the podcast.
I want him on too, man. I tried to reach out. I haven't got nothing back yet.
I do. And I think doing collaboratory podcasts would be fun.
Yeah.
You know, like I like JP Lopez. I like his. I like I don't understand the name, but I like the taco sandwich.
Yeah. Those guys are cool.
Is there a reason it's called taco sandwich?
There was two Mexicans and a white dude.
Okay.
Yeah. That's why, I think.
The Angel was serious.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Hell yeah, dude. Well, I appreciate you coming on here. And I hope people listen to your pod and support what y'all are doing? Where can they follow you? Any of that stuff?
We have a Instagram right now, Riding Right with the Raiders. And other than that, just look for us on RSS, Apple Music. I say Apple Music.
Apple Podcasts?
I think it's Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music. And then eventually we're going to go on to YouTube. We've just got to figure out some way to get video working again.
Hell yeah. Well, man, thank you again.
Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah.
I'll talk to Arrington's office and others, and
please do.
We'll see what we can make happen.
Maybe after I put Kyle's out, you know,
that's a good way to wet the hook, and all of a sudden the big fish start coming. So
I'm just saying, Kyle said he's coming for your spot, Jody.
And they're aware. Trust me, they're aware.
Well, you come on too, brother. Anyways, Snake Pit Studios, patreon.com/Snake Pit Studios. Please check it out. The Patreon, the Rattlesnake, Breaking Hyman with Morgan, and this podcast, all at Snake Pit Studios. Check it out, guys. Sometime in August, we might do another live show. If not, in September for sure. Thank you, guys. We'll see y'all next time. Rec and Tech.